guys had hoods over their heads, so I was a little bit leery on, pulling up to my house. These guys, to me, didn't fit in to this neighborhood. I've never seen them. I don't think they belong here. I decided to go around the block. And when I came back around, the 3 guys were gone. I got my things out of my trunk and out of my back seat and walked up to my door. And the next thing you know, I was on the ground. And I had absolutely no idea what hit me. I lifted my head and I felt the warmth of the blood running down my face. And this voice came at me that said, "If you scream, I will use this," as he shoved a gun to my face. Fear isn't deep enough. It's not a strong enough word for that moment in time. I felt like I was gonna die. I begged him to leave me alone and to take my belongings, to take my car. He grabbed my purse and he picked me up and dragged me down my steps and took me to my backyard. Looking down, I saw 4 other feet on the ground, and I realized it was the 3 guys that were walking down my street. The house that I lived in had a fenced-in backyard and an alley down the back. And I heard my car come down the alley. And that's when they started to tie my hands behind my back and blindfold me and gag me with one of the mustiest rags. It was almost like full of oil and gasoline, and I still remember that smell. It's like a garage smell. And then they climbed the fence and then picked me up, and I heard the trunk open, and they threw me in the trunk of my car. The car stopped, and the trunk opened. And as they ran me down this gravelly, rocky alley, they took me into a garage. And they ripped my clothes off and began shoving me, pushing me, throwing me down on the ground. And they all 3 took turns raping me in every which way they could figure out. They were almost, pushing each other away to get to me, one after the other, like, it's my turn now. It's, one raped me, and then the next one raped me, and then the next one raped me, and then the other one came back. There was not much conversation going on other than let me have her, or it's my turn. To live through being in that garage, I had to remove myself because I don't know any other way of survival from that. Because I really feel like in that garage I lost my life that night. Because I will never ever be that person again. After they were all done, one of the guys came up to me and said that he would help me put my clothes back on. And he told me that he had my skirt. That night I was wearing a suit, a red suit, and they had ripped it off of me, so it was very hard to put it back on. So they dragged me back down to my car and opened up the trunk again and threw me in the trunk of the car. I was either gonna die in the trunk or they were gonna shoot me and leave me somewhere. I was so exhausted, emotionally, physically, and I think I lost so much blood that I just passed out. I blacked out in the trunk of my car. I don't care who this is, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to kick on the trunk of my car. I have got nothing to lose by now. As I kicked on the trunk of the car, I said, please help me. And the voice came back and said, "I'm Detective Billingsley, I'm going to get you out." when he approached the car, the light came on as two of them got out of the car and ran. And that's when he apprehended one of the guys that night that was in the back seat of my car. It seemed like it was hours before he got me out of the trunk of the car. When the trunk opened, I saw nothing but lights and sirens and police officers. I went through the exam, but feels like it's almost being assaulted all over again. I didn't realize it was a 7-hour ordeal and everything that they had to do to collect evidence, because your body, you're nothing but evidence. I had a pretty severe head trauma, but I had a lot of handprints on my body throughout, on my legs, on my inner legs and my arms and my chest. The youngest guy, the one that was caught that evening, he gave the other two guys up. And the next day, they apprehended one of them in the morning, and then they apprehended the second one in the evening. One of them had spit on one of the guards at the jail and said that he had AIDS. I asked if they could all be tested, and because they had more rights than I did, they had to agree to a test, and they didn't. So I never found out. I continue to this day to still get tested, but I have been cleared that I clearly do not have, I'm not HIV positive. The three guys pretty much got put in prison for life. Antoine Netherly got 320 years. James Irby got 210, and Benny Copeland got 70 years. The most empowering thing that I got to do through the court process was give an impact statement. And I remember walking out of the courthouse, my very last court date, walking out and feeling so free of them and the situation that I could really start living my life again. On October 12th, my husband's birthday, is when our son was born, and we named him after Detective Arthur Billingsley. The only name that I could name him is after Art Billingsley for saving my life that night. I work at an agency that assists victims of crime, and I am also blessed to have a voice for victims. I survived because God had bigger plans for me, and God nudged Detective Art Billingsley that night to come and save my life so that I could be that hope for other people who have experienced rape, sexual assault, or some kind of trauma in their life, to let them know that, there is survival after trauma, there is life after trauma, you can have a happy life.